Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Rubber Stamp Tapestry and another design team project. And for today's project, we are going to use the first Corsage peg stamp set. So we got these beautiful florals, and what I like about this one is the difference in the florals. You've got a medium size, you've got a smaller size, and then you've got teeny size. So you've got that cluster of 3. You've got a little tiny whimsical branch with this set. As always, know that you have that registry line so you know how this image will stamp. So you want to turn it in your hands, and just by knowing where that line is, you know that's technically the base. So you know by spinning that how it will look. I pulled out my Concord and 9th dye inks. I really do love these colors, and the colors that I pulled out for the flowers are sea glass, grapefruit, and honeysuckle. So beautiful aqua. The grapefruit is a great like a peach color, and then the honeysuckle is like a coral on the pink side, just a little bit. So I'm just going to stamp these. Now I am going to fill out this entire panel. So again, we're going to create our own pattern paper with these. Even though you have these different sizes, you can create your own motifs. Now I'm just going through and filling out the entire panel. Now this panel right now does measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is a standard A2 size card base. And really it's the only A2 size that I know. I'm just saying. I'll learn the others. You could still cover up the background, but you could do it in lines like the old style of wallpaper. You could do certain different types of clusters and have a line connecting them. So again, there's different ways that you could create your own motifs. So always keep that in mind. I'm now using Sprout and Parsley for the greenery. Now there's 2 different styles of no, there's one style. So the one style of greenery, it's like a bushel, so to speak, but you can change the look of your stamp just by simply using those 2 different colors. So I'm using a light and a dark. As always, I have a baby wipe sitting right next to me off to the side, and after I'm done using the one color, I will use that to clean off my peg stamp, just to make sure it's clean in case I drop it and it doesn't, you know, go wherever. You all know me. We all do it. We all drop our stamps, and I do it all the time. There's times where I just throw it across the room. Yep, because it's what I do. It's a lot of fun. Yes. So as I'm filling this up, I'm using the greens to fill in those open spaces, but I do want some of the spaces open, okay? But this is still a lot. Now I have bright, vibrant color here. Now I'm going to come in with mushroom. Mushroom is like a gray brown. I absolutely love this color. So I'm using that for the single small flower. Again, it's like a shadow. You don't always have to use those bright colors. By pulling in these monotone colors or neutral colors, it allows them to come up and be more prominent as well. So I'm just going to use this to fill in the areas. And again, you can see just by using that darker shade, it's pulling in that white, those white areas, those white spots. Now I'm going to come in with one of my favorite colors, and Eggplant is. I am a fan of the deep dark purples. I just like those shades, and to me they are neutral because they can go to either side. I'm using this color for the small 3 florals, and again, this is a nice image that will actually sit in the background, even though I'm using such a dark color. For the whimsical branch, I'm going to use wheat, and I'm just going to use this as the filler. This is going to make the connection between the clusters that have formed. I'm not worried if I go over a flower or if I go over the leaves. Again, these are just whimsical branches that are just filling in the area. Now, what I'm going to be doing with this panel is something that I've never really done before. So kind of doing this for the first time, but I've seen so many others do this. So we are actually going to cut out a section of this panel. So first though, I will trim the panel, and the panel will be trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm taking 1/4 of an inch off. I then grabbed some scrap pieces of the sprout, and I'm using my nested rectangle dies by Memory Box, and I'm going to cut my 2 images. So the larger piece of sprout, that's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's going to be the first mat. Then I'm taking these other 2 rectangles. Now they're nested. So I'm taking the smaller one, and I'm going to cut out the center of the panel that we just stamped. And then I'm going to take a slightly larger rectangle out of the scrap piece of sprout. So now I'm going to have these multiple layered mats. Now, of course, I'm going to use dimension. So I'm going to take the first panel, and I'm going to take my liquid adhesive, and I'm going to put that down onto that mat. So this mat pretty much is pretty much like 1/4 of an inch bigger than the stamped image. I'm then going to take the frame part, and I'm going to put that down onto my main solid panel, making sure to get up to the line so nothing lifts, and I'm going to set that in place. Now you could simply just take the next piece and just place it right on top of that. You're creating a mat after a mat after a mat. You could cut more sizes of rectangles. I just wanted to go with the 2 different sizes. I've placed that panel with the frame onto a standard A2 size card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this will be a side folding. I'm making a landscape card. I'm going to grab my double-sided foam squares. You can use your double-sided foam tape or whatever you have, fun foam. These were just handy, and I'm going to set them, making sure that the pattern is correct. I almost stuck it the wrong way. You want to make sure that the pattern is actually continuing. So you have that frame around that smaller rectangle, and it's just creating the cut, but and then when you look on the top panel, it's the continuation of what we've just stamped. I'm sure I'm stating this all wrong, but hopefully you understand and I'm not confusing anyone. I took one of the sentiments, I like to call these the retro sentiments. I believe they're by Tim Holtz, and I'm using birthday wishes. Placed that on one of the scrap pieces of sprout with a little bit of glue to make sure it would stick, and I'm going to prop that right down in the bottom right hand corner. Now you could have put that across the top panel. You could have made this a portrait card and go right across that panel. You know, again, whatever is appealing to your eye. I'm going to put some glue dots all around my piece, and I'm going to grab my wax pencil, and I'm using my Studio Katya black gems, and I'm just going to set them all throughout this piece. I chose the black for the gray brown of the small flower, and also for the sentiment. It's really going to help that sentiment to stand out. So we're going to put these away before I put them all over the place, which happened earlier. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's project, again featuring the first Corsage peg stamp set by Rubber Stamp Tapestry. And again, this is a design team project. As always, all the products that I used will be listed down below. And if you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those down below as well. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy your day. Always enjoy your day. Smile, laugh. Enjoy the time with your friends and family. But if you're in your crafty space, enjoy that too, especially. And always remember what's most important. Always be creative, guys. Till next time. Take care.